Well, hi, good morning. Thank you so much for joining me in my shop here to keep me company while I start working on this fantastic radio here. Today is July 9th. This is the first video on this radio. I think this is going to be a fairly long series, so I may be doing 20 videos on this radio. I don't know. You never know what's going to happen when I start these. So this is a fantastic Hammarlund HQ-100A. The A denotes the fact that this is an updated version of an earlier radio, the HQ-100. Now before I get going on this, in case this is the first of my videos you're watching, let me just tell you a couple things about what's going to happen here and how I approach this. First of all, I'm not a know-everything guy. Okay, I've met know-everything guys. I know a couple. They know everything, but I don't know everything. So often a project, especially one like this, is quite a challenge for me. Can strain my knowledge on radios. But I have been doing this for a long time, so I have a lot of practical experience. Secondly, since this is essentially live, well, it's not live, you're watching a recording of it, but I don't do very much editing at all. In fact, virtually none in these videos. So everything that happens goes out on video, including dumb statements made by me and mistakes and misunderstandings and the like. In the early stages of working on something like this, during the familiarization stage, which a big radio like this can take quite a while, mistakes are made. Wrong ideas are thought. Things like that happen. That's just part of the parcel here in doing this work. So if you think I'm going to show you, 1, 2, 3, here's how you do it, it's more like 3AC1, a couple of dots here and there too. So so hang on tight during this process. If I do get lost, and sometimes I get totally lost, I make a mistake and head off in a direction I should never go in, well, sooner or later I'll figure that out and get back on track. So not to panic about it. Just a word about comments on my videos. I'm happy to see people making comments. I myself, and this may be a little bit surprising, I don't read the comments on the videos. I did years ago, but it got to be just too much, and I can't keep up with it. And there's only so much time in the day for me, and my time is spent working on these radios, not making videos. And that'll be kind of obvious when you watch the video. There's no fanciness going on. I'm not doing fancy video tricks and stuff like that. Okay, that's it. Now, you've been staring at the front of this for quite a while. Let's look at the back and see what we can see. So, and what I hope today, in today's video, is simply get through looking this guy over, realizing what kind of documentation is available, and playing this radio. I plan to operate this radio here in my shop. I have been operating this radio. It does work. I have it in my listening spot, if you like, and I listen to it occasionally, but mostly just to see, just to check how it's functioning, because its reception is not very good. It works, but not very good. So what do we got on the back here? We've got speaker connections, which I will need, antenna connections, which I will need, control here, meter 0 adjust, and this is where the headphones would go in. Kind of crazy on the back panel, but that's where they've got it, on the back panel. Information available here is the tubes that are in here. Let's look and see what they are. 12AX7, 6AQ5, 6BA6, 6BA6, 6BV8. Okay, that's a bit of an unusual tube there. 6C4, 6BE6, 6BZ6, 5Y3, and an OB2 voltage regulator. So this is a little bit 6BV8. Yikes. Well, that doesn't ring a bell. I don't know if I have any of those. The rest of the tubes are all very common. Hammarlund Manufacturing Company, Mars Hill, North Carolina. I think it says Mars Hill. Hammarlund produced a lot of commercial grade radios, military radios. The famous one is the SP600 radio, which I have, and actually that's my favorite my favorite radio for tuning around, except for I hate to admit it, but SDRs have stolen my heart. So these old radios are fun to use, but SDR is a much more serious radio when it comes to radio hobbying. We should take a look at the documentation that's available, and we'll just look over the front panel here more closely and get familiar with it. Let's just take a look at the documentation. Whoa! What's that? Yes, sir. What can I do for you? Did you want to go outside? Do you want to go outside? Yeah. That's her typical answer there. Somebody talk? Did I hear something? Yeah, she's a funny cat. Okay, she wants to go outside. Whoops, I'm sure of it. She wants to run around my feet. Okay, so I'm going to take care of the cat. Then we'll take a look at the documentation that I found on BAMA, on the BAMA website. Oh man, she's going to scratch down my whole shop here. Don't sharpen your nails on that. Okay, so I'm looking in the BAMA website, Boat Anchor Manual Archive, which is the best place to find information about a big old radio like this one. And you can see it talks about the HQ-100, and I've got an HQ-100A on my bench. If we look down here, here's a list of all the documentation they have. It's a lot. You see the upper half here is for the HQ-100, and the lower half is for the HQ-100A, which is what I've got. We'll take a peek at now. Most of these I've opened up here on my browser up at the top there, so we're going to run through them quickly. The one I really want to focus on, though, is this last one, receiver blocking problems, because it highlights a very interesting thing. So we'll go quickly through these other documents just to kind of see what they are, what they look like, and then we'll just to get familiar with stuff like this. So this is the sales brochure for the radio. It is being directly marketed to ham radio operators, so this is a ham radio receiver, if you like. This particular model they're showing has the clock. I don't have the clock on mine, I just have a blank spot here. That's too bad. Okay, some interesting features of this radio are the Q multiplier, which is an unusual thing to see built into a radio. Automatic noise limiter, not sure what they're talking about there. Auto response. Automatically adjusts audio response to fit receiving conditions. Now that's what are they saying there? The volume control appears to adjust the tone at the same time. So if you turn the radio down, you get a more bass tone. I believe that's how it works, oddly enough. Warm up tire. Construction's ruggedly constructed. Yeah, sure seems to be. 10 tube super heterodyne circuit. So I'm not going to go through this, just taking a look, getting you familiar with what is here to be looked at, specifications. So this is just a sales brochure. And okay, next one, technical description and operating instructions. So this is a much longer document here with all kinds of information in it. Fantastic. Okay, I'm not going to look at it, just be aware of what it is. Issue 2. Published by direction of the Commander, Space and Naval Warfare System Command. This is a military manual. Probably fairly similar to the last one we looked at. Looks like some similar diagrams going by that. Okay, military version. Due to minor changes in the circuit and operation of the HQ-100 series receiver. Oh, this is 100. The HQ-100 man, straightforward receiver. The HQ-100 differs from the HQ-100A differs from the HQ-100 only in that it incorporates a separate built-in BFO rather than using the Q multiplier in a self-oscillating state as was previously done. This therefore allows independent control of both the BFO and the Q multiplier circuits for improved operation on CW. It differs only in that it incorporates a separate built-in BFO. That's the only difference. I guess they had trouble with their HQ-100 design and did this change to it. Okay, there's a little more detail in here. A few things that have changed, but does it really matter to me? What has changed? With the included circuit revision from the 6AL5, that's a very common double diode, dual diode, to the 6BV8. Is that another one? Is that another similar? Maybe that's similar to this. 6BV8. Why'd they do that? And then there's some diagrams and stuff. Okay, on to the next document. There's many documents. Issue number 2. Isn't this the one we already looked at? This might just be the same thing again. Look here. Here we go again. Looks like I got the same thing over and over. Maybe these are slightly different versions of the manual. Oh, here's the schematic on one page. Wow. On one page. Okay, taking a quick look at it. Okay, that's a quick look. And the last one. This is the interesting one, I think. I'm going to read this whole thing. Oops. It's a little, oh my gosh, it's a lot longer than I thought. Maybe I won't read the whole thing. Let's just listen to this. Dear OM. What's OM? OM. Dear something. Old man. Dear old man. Oh my gosh, it's ham radio talk. We have received a few complaints indicating receiver blocking. This condition is obvious after a period of transmission or after changing the band switch by a decided loss in gain. The receiver cannot be returned to normal gain unless either the function switch is thrown into a different position or sometimes the receiver turned off completely and then on again by means of the AC switch. This trouble will only prevail in the 7 megacycle to 50 megacycle bands. This condition is entirely due to the Sylvania type 6BE6 being employed in position V3 as discussed in paragraph 4 of the attached summary. Usually, changing the Sylvania type 6BE6 to an RCA2 will eliminate this blocking condition. However, in addition, we have suggested the following change to make the receiver less susceptible to blocking, in addition to making the circuit less critical to tube changes or aging. Okay, I'm not going to read the whole thing. The point of this is, and I did read this when I first got my hands on this radio, I read information and I came across this 6BE6 difficulty. It turns out this Sylvania built 6BE6 is a problem tube. I've never heard of such a thing before. I've always assumed 6BE6, does it really matter who made it? Aren't they all the same? Well, this one isn't. This particular tube causes trouble in this radio. There's another, maybe it's just more, if you read this more, you get more and more detail about it. I think these are other difficulties that they found with the radio, but quite shocking. If it says in here, if you have the 6BE6, you can take it out, put it in a box, mail it back to them, and they'll mail you out an RCA 6BE6 to replace it. Anyway, that's an interesting sidelight. Now, does this guy have a 6BE6? I got no idea. I've never looked inside. So that's all the information. There's probably even more information about this radio, and there'll be lots of people talking about it on the internet too, at various chat websites for this kind of thing. So there should be just a huge amount of information available for this radio. So this is actually one of 3 great radios that I acquired some months ago. And right after that, I had all 3 of them in my shop here. So if you're watching a lot of my videos, you may have seen this radio in a previous video. And I brought it in the shop, tried to operate it, see what's going on. I just want to get a quick look. Since then, those 3 radios have been stacked in my listening post area in my house here, and I've been listening with them. One of them is a dog. It doesn't work. The other one, a Helicrafters I've had in here and done to it what I hope to do to this one. Went through it, checked it out, tuned it up. I can tell you that radio is performing really well now. I hope this one will too. So I know that. So I had these in my listening spot so I could check them out, take some time, spend some time with them. Check out each band, all that kind of, all the different functions, and get familiar with it. So I am familiar with this radio. It works, maybe we could say it's a 50% performer. That might give some idea what's going on here. I'm going to operate it, and we're going to find out here in my shop how well it does. For an antenna, I'm using a mini whip on a pole out on my deck. The mini whip has proven to be a very, very good antenna for me, and so that's what this will be connected to. Mini whip works all the way from I think 100,000 hertz all the way up to 30 megahertz, although it seems to get weaker towards the top end. Today, like right now, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, so exactly what we're going to hear on a radio like this. In terms of shortwave, not an awful lot. In terms of broadcast radio, we'll hear the local stations, the local being within a couple hundred miles of where I am, via ground wave from the broadcast stations. The skywave, or whatever you want to call it, will be absent during the day. So there's only maybe 15 stations. Be lucky if this thing picks up 2 or 3 of them. That's really where we're at. There's another weird effect here I noticed with this radio. Now when you grab the antenna tuning or antenna match adjustment, and you bring your hand up and touch the knob, the radio appears to be much better off, as if you are the better antenna than what's hooked up on the back. Yeah, on the back we have the antenna connection here and speaker connections there for a speaker in my shop. Okay, enough talk. Let's get this guy going. So this is the on-off switch here. We're going to turn it off. Okay, here we go. So exciting. Well, it takes time for a tube radio to warm up, doesn't it? We'll go over the knobs here while we're waiting. This is selecting receive, send. Since this is a ham radio, it's going to be an environment where someone's transmitting, so there's a send switch, more like a standby switch. And then to activate the BFO, you have to come all the way over to here. It's kind of weird. You have to go through the send position to get to BFO. Kind of weird. This is the antenna tuner I mentioned already. It's the main tuning for here. A little bit stiff. It's got no pew. There's no pew in it. Sensitivity control. Normally you have that up high, or you keep it pretty high. Here, I'm going to leave it up. AVC or manual for the automatic volume control. So it'll be manual, will be up. This is on AVC right now. Band selection. This is the turning the limiter on and off. The limiter, oddly enough, on is down, off is up. I think we'll turn it off to start with. This is the volume control. Band spread when, oh man, this knob is so loose. Huh, when did I get that loose? There's a mark here that you can set this to, and when with this band spread set this way, oh my gosh, I gotta fix that. Then the dial over here is accurate. You can even use this as a fine adjustment in the sense that if you discover that when you tune, let's say WWV at 10 megahertz, but it's not quite on 10 here, you can use this to sort of compensate. Okay, I'll get to that in a minute. Loose knob. Carrying on. So volume. What happened to the volume? Oh, must be some dirt in there. Volume control there. Now these two controls. So this one is the selectivity control, and I could be wrong when I'm going to stay here, but let's go back to the audio first. When you have this set low, apparently the bandwidth is wide. The audio bandwidth is wide, and as you turn it up, it narrows. This is considered a feature. I don't know. I'd rather have a separate tone control. Why would they? Anyway, the selectivity control here has an off switch, which is a little bit odd. And also what's odd is it's not a snap switch. It's a vernier or a potentiometer on a selectivity control. So it would be very interesting to find out how they've done this. I notice it knocks the volume out when you... weird stuff happening with the volume control in terms of tone. Not very consistent. Maybe this is a double. Maybe there's a double potentiometer behind this. I don't know. We don't know anything yet. Okay, back to the selectivity control. So in the manual, it warns that if you turn the selectivity control much past 2 o'clock, the radio may oscillate. There you can see it. The oscillation's taking the radio right over. So I don't know if this is working. This suggests it's working, but I don't. Maybe when we have a station tuned in, we can hear more. The Q multiplier. I don't know if this works in conjunction with this. I don't know if the off means this is off too. I don't know yet. You can hear an effect, but not quite what a Q multiplier should sound like. So a Q multiplier is doing exactly that. It's increasing the Q of a certain circuit. So the response curve, it goes way up like that, and you get a simultaneous the sensation of a narrowing of the bandwidth of the radio. But I don't hear that here, so we'll leave this right in the middle, which I think is a neutral spot. Leave this turned off. Those are the controls. Now let's go to the broadcast band here, 54 to 16. We're on the bottom scale. Oh, this one. I don't think that's this volume control, because that was weird. I got to turn way up here before it kicked in. Something funny going on in there. Okay, we are right in the middle of the band here. Let's just see what we find. And I got this set on the mark.
After your procedure to whatever level of vision precision you prefer.
So this is 1010, I'm sure.
There's no charge. Look after
I have a little bit of trouble seeing this, I guess, but the bottom scale here. So that's very good. That's very good reception. Oh, wrong control. So we'll go upscale. That's 1050. 1150. Reception's very good. I might pick up an American station through here. That's the American Civil Defense symbol there. Very good. It's picking stuff up. So this is a community radio, a fairly strong community radio station from Toronto. There's quite a number of them. Okay, it's trying here. Let's see what we can do with this. It's music. There we are. Let's do this one. How do you like your marshmallows? Okay. Checking the different controls now on the radio. Sensitivity. Antenna. So I can grab other controls. Watch the meter here too. I don't know about that. I can't hear any audio change, but then I'm playing it through a fairly small speaker right now. Maybe it's not enough. Selectivity.
Sean will come to your home and answer any questions you have about the market and what the best strategy is to get your top dollar for your home. Sean continues to achieve tremendous success.
Sounds like it's wider here and getting narrower.
within days.
Now that has the Q multiplier sound to it to me.
Sean quickly generated 16 offers and sold
Maybe this is working if you set it right.
$160,000 over asking.
Of course, we're narrowing down the bandwidth that's really meant for ham communications, Morse code, like CW, things like that. You not really want to listen to audio like this from a radio station. It's going to sound muffled. Well, it seems to me it's working in all regards. Here's the limiter. Of course, ooh, that's not very good. Oh, what happened there? What happened? Where'd that station go? Like it's gotta still be there. Well, I wonder what happened. Nice limiter, because you hear that kind of, I don't know how to describe it. Hear the noise? Oh, I suffer from this kind of noise here in the shop. Something terrible. But it's not so bad today. Well, I don't know what happened there, but it seems to me it lost. It lost something. Huh. Go back to the stations we were hearing. Yeah. There's a station here. What happened to it? I don't know. Now I'm starting to think it's my imagination. Okay, let's try another band. I think you could declare that largely working. So we're gonna skip this one and go to the 4 to 10, 4 megahertz to 10. I'm gonna dial in 4, not that one, this one here. Dial in 4 and start from there. Shouldn't hear anything. So we're at 3. This will be a ham radio. That's a little surprising. Might be single sideband. Most of this should be single. I'm surprised. I'm surprised at this time of day to be hearing stuff. Oh, what's this? So on the dial here, it's 2.95. Come on, there's nothing here. What's happening? I'm reading the wrong, you know what it is? I'm reading the wrong dial. That's what's happening. 4 to 10. 3 is less than 4. Yeah. Did I say something about sometimes I make stupid mistakes? Yeah, there's one. Okay, now this all makes sense. Kind of. We're up around is 7 megahertz, so yes, picking up some shortwave stuff and ham radio stuff up around 7. That's not surprising. Cuba. So it does have the sound of a Q that I'm familiar with a Q multiplier. Working fairly well. Pick a strong station up in this area here.
Exactly what was meant in such situation. How likely is it that it should indeed have a dual nature, 100% human and 100% divine? How likely is it that John would to explain that?
Manual.
Very likely when you put it like that. You make all these things about being dependent upon his father and how his father was greater than he and how by himself
Dirt and control.
it was his father doing the works. He repeats that over and over.
Sound is very good. Fool with these again.
We've seen how ridiculous John was in providing explanations for anything that might be misinterpreted. I know I keep using that word, but ridiculous is the only word to describe John's level of knowledge. If Yahushua truly was equal with the Father in his divine nature, why didn't John say that? When Yahushua talked about being dependent upon the Father, didn't he say something like, "This he spake concerning his human nature and not of himself as God"?
That's my comment on that. Oh, we can try the BFO on this. This is teletype. Good. And go to the top band. 30 megahertz and coming down. Turn everything up here to hear it. Oop, let's turn this off. CB? Nope. WWV at 20? Nope. 19 meter band. WWV. And it's probably my speaker connection's not. Okay, WWV at 15, very, very close. Very, very close. Oh, what just happened there? Nothing. Nothing happened.
He gave up the practice of medicine to preach, to become a pastor. He wrote a book, Warfare.
Then sounds like WWV. You couldn't get any closer to 10 here. Look at that. Okay, so along with the experience just now and other times I've operated this radio, its performance is pretty good. I guessed 50%. I'd say it's more like 80%, 70 or 80%. And my objective would be to get the last 20% out of it. Seems to me these things are operating. Maybe they're not operating, performing the way they really should. The meter gets up pretty high with strong signals coming in, which also indicates the radio is working fairly well. So that's great. That's great. Maybe we should get the back off, take a look inside, see what it is, and call it a day at that point. And how do you get the back off of this guy here? Probably these two big screws, and she shoots out the front. That's my guess. Okay, I need to strengthen up with some coffee before I take that on. Okay, I actually read the instructions on how to take the cabinet off. And to my surprise, they say, put this right on its face. Which, it's got nothing out here. It's going to be on these knobs, but I guess it's strong enough. There, they did say put a cloth. Okay, I will put a cloth. Pretty ugly feet on this thing. I guess you can't call that feet. Okay, and then we're just supposed to lift this straight up and off. Yep. Go. There we go. And wow, it doesn't look like there's very much in there. Holy smokes. It's empty. It's an empty box. Let's take a closer look. Wow, okay, not exactly what I was expecting. Great thing about this, I don't see any wax capacitors in here at all. I see... what do I see? Do I see any? So this and this may be very early versions of, I'm kind of abusing the word, and I forgot the word, so I won't abuse it. This has probably got resistors and capacitors inside it, and this thing too. So, what else is it? I'm just looking around. Anything burned up? No, I don't see anything burned up. Well, it's really a simple looking radio. I'm just shocked. I mean, if you look over at these tubes, there's virtually no components around them. This one too. These ones have components hanging off them, but well, okay, I thought I was just going to find a mass of parts in here, but no, not really. Now, is there anything spectacular here that I would want to be particularly careful around? Is there any sign that anybody's done any work in here? I think the answer is no. I think I'm the first guy in, and I already see something. I see something. Remember I told you the knob on the antenna tuner, you touch the knob and the radio would pick up volume. Not so dramatic here in my shop, but back in my listening post, wow. If we're not hanging on to that knob, barely hear a station, grab the knob, station blasting in. Can you see what I see down here? If you're looking in the right spot, you'd see it. There's a wire off. There's a wire off right here. So this is the shield wire, and it's supposed to, I'm sure it's supposed to be connected here, and it's just broken right off. So when you see something like this on a control like that, sometimes it means the control itself has been rotated. Somebody's turned the knob to the limit and then turned it further and caused the whole thing to twist. But that's not the case here. This looks perfectly in place. So I'm trying to reason out, why would this break off? And my answer would be, who knows? But it's definitely broken off there. Let's take a closer look at that. I'm so surprised. I'm just looking into the back of a radio and seeing something already. That's hey, maybe I'm better at this than I realized. Okay, might take a moment to focus. There we are. There, you can see it quite clearly. So this would explain a fair bit, I think. In fact, this might make a dramatic difference. Look at that other post. Has appears to have solder on it, but nothing attached. Okay, camera wants to focus on the back wall there. Wow, okay, that's interesting. What are all these scratches here? Pretty scratched up. Well, I'm just going to solder that back, and then we're going to operate the radio again and see if there's any change. Is there some chance they meant this? Somebody reached in and cut it? I don't think so. It doesn't have the pinched look of a cut. Looks like it was just badly attached. Huh. Wow, I wonder what else is loose. Now I got the close-up camera going here. I might as well look through a few things here. That's got to be the filter capacitor and transformer. Some adjustments or like coils way down there, but look, they're kind of hidden under a lot of stuff here. You're probably hearing some ticking while I'm doing this. It sounds like random, there it goes, ticking. What you're hearing is this thing over here that I just left running now for like a week. That's a Geiger counter. And the reason I've left it running for a week, there is no reason. Transformer, I'm looking for burned parts, or there's these things I was talking about. Integrated circuits. That's the term I was trying to get out of my mouth. So I don't know if you can really call this an integrated circuit, because there was a name for these and I've forgotten it now. But in there's probably a couple resistors, a couple capacitors, and the problem with these is if they're busy, they're hard to replace. Like if something fails inside one of these guys, you got to replace the whole thing. You can't get one. So you have to do it with discrete components, and it can be challenging. There's another one there. That's why it's worth noting there in the radio. And also, these aren't the most reliable guys either. All these capacitors are highly reliable and stable. Yeah, what year was this built? The red wire doesn't look like it's soldered very well. Good enough. Would finding that one thing disconnected, would that suggest that there's maybe a risk of more bad soldering or bad wiring in here? Maybe it was Bob's first day on the job. So all these red wires are bundled together onto a terminal Wait, is that a terminal or is it just a bunch of bundled wires? It's a bunch of bundled wires and then they're just looks like it just comes over to this terminal here on the what I imagine is an IF transformer. Looks about as clean as the day they built it. See the switch, how blackened it is? Now, I don't know this to be the case, but perhaps that's the result of that's silver turning black. I don't know. Is that bad? Not necessarily. That could be just as conductive as anything, just fine. Or it may be a problem. It didn't seem to be a problem. All highly reliable capacitors used in this radio. I haven't seen one that I would say, that guy's got to go. Yeah. So a performance improvement not going to come from changing these parts unless one of them is particularly defective, which is possible. But considering the radio works, well, I'm not seeing anything here that's making me jump up and down and go, ooh, we got to do all kinds of work. I don't see it. I don't see anything really. Wow, it's got these big wheels to put some weight on the knob so you can kind of spin them, but they don't spin. The wheels don't spin, and there's no all that string stuff must be up under here. I imagine there's strings or gears in here, or the edge-driven plates, I believe. Can't really see up there what's going on. Okay, but a radio like this is not likely to have string drive. Okay, so I'm gonna deal with this, and then we're gonna play the radio again. Well, it's gonna be the easiest repair of my life. Okay, got that wire soldered back. Turned out to be more challenging than you might imagine. And let's operate the radio and see what difference. Now it's out of its cabinet, so the extensive metal shielding the cabinet provides is gone, especially underneath the bottom. But it looks like most of the sensitive parts are inside of cans and protected here and there. So I'm going to assume that, yeah, look at this. I'm going to assume I forgot what I was saying here. What was I just talking about? What's caught my eye anyway are these plates here. So when you tune the radio, you see this huge thing turning. Of course, this has got the numbers written on it in that. But no, I'm going to take it back. I was going to say, but I'll bet you this plate is what's driving it. But no, it can't be. This is plastic. You need a steel plate like that with a rim drive on it. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, never mind me. Ignore me. Let's hook stuff back up. Okay, this is the antenna here. Okay, then the speaker. Radio has no speaker of its own. Here we go. Okay, what am I expecting? Well, I don't know. Is it going to work like fantastically better? I just going to be able to tune the antenna better? That strange thing where you grab the knob will be gone. That's probably for sure what's going to happen. Okay, we need to plug it in to make it work. Didn't really check that out before. Okay, we're in, we're off, we're on, we're on. Okay, go to the broadcast band and volume. And we're not hearing it. Because did I put the speakers on the antenna? I've done that before. No, it's just these wires not making contact here. These very, very common screw connectors for the antenna connection. In this case, it's speaker. These things are terribly unreliable if they're loose at all. Even though I'm using clip leads here, those ones are tight. These ones are not tight, and they're just terribly unreliable. More so than you would imagine. That's why I'm bringing it up. Okay, that's probably better. Let me just turn it up here. Yeah, that's probably going to do it. Okay, Mr. Radio, let's do this thing. Oh my gosh, what a difference. Wow. Yeah, huge difference. Now, is it an improvement? We got to tune something in here. Oop, how with that knob? This knob. This is probably 640 here. No, this is probably 610. Okay, that's good. 610 is from St. Catharines. That's about 100 and, I'm going to guess 150 miles from here. Okay, what's this do? .610? I don't think we picked this up before, but I can't be sure. If I get a little closer here, maybe the camera will see that better. No, it won't.
On a scale of 1 to 10, build C48
That's 640 from Toronto. 680 from Grimsby, far side of Lake Ontario. Radio's receiving really well. I'm not sure what that is. That's Hamilton. Toronto. 97 is Buffalo, I believe. Maybe this is 970 here. Doing a great job. The radio's doing a great job here. Everything we're picking up we can hear. We can hear. That's 1150, Hamilton. Now from here on in, it's low power or far away stations. Let's see what we can do with this weak signal here. Not helping much. Yeah, not sure about that control. So these are not making a lot of sense to me. The tone control is built into the volume control here. And I think it's wider as you turn it down. It's kind of weird. I don't like the arrangement actually. But maybe it's not working quite properly. Very good. Let's go up to here and pick a station. There we are. Done. Whoops, I bumped the tuning.
Un espacio está sobre los temas más destacados y clínica como nuestros periodistas y corresponsales. Todos los días un tema abordado en profundidad en un podcast a través de nuestro canal YouTube, la página web vozdeamerica.com y a través de la red de afiliadas de América Latina y el Caribe. Cruzando con la voz de América.
Sounds bad when that happens. Yeah, it's doing something, but excellent. Okay, very good, very good. Okay, first day with this. Oh, what happened to my camera? I'm sorry about that. First day with this radio, and hey, I managed to actually fix it. Who would have thought? Fantastic. So tomorrow, what we'll do is we'll try to assess its performance, put some instruments on it, and try to see if it's performing the way it's supposed to perform. Not an easy thing to do. Seems to be working really quite well, in fact. Fantastic. To some degree, for a guy like me, starting with a radio that's working fairly well, that's a scary thing because it's pretty easy to go downwards instead of upwards. So, with its performance. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and tomorrow we will poke around with some instruments and see what more we can find out about this radio. See ya.